Good afternoon, Patriots. Hope y'all having a good day. Let's get into it. We had a kind of a win in Georgia today. The Secretary of State said because the ballots are too close to call down there, the race, they're going to do a recanvassing and audit of the ballots and then hand count them, 5 million of them. So when they audit them, they'll go back in and see which ones are legit. You know, they have the postmark and the signature verification and everything that'll qualify or disqualify a ballot. So hopefully we can get in there and get rid of some of these fraudulent ones. And we'll get a hand count, recount. I don't see any world in which Georgia turns blue. But some other things have surprised us this time, so we'll see. I'm pretty confident about Georgia, though, so that's hopefully the first in a few big victories we'll have in the next few days. Also, I saw this morning on Breitbart, they pulled up the first presidential debate, and Joe Biden's quoted as saying, you know, he wouldn't accept victory in the election or acknowledge himself as the president-elect until all the votes are certified. So we should take him to task for that. He's out there running around, bound and determined to be the next president, and that is far to have been determined yet. I think Trump's got a shot here. He's got some good lawyers on his side. Kayleigh McEnany was on Hannity last night laying out some of the evidence they've got. It seems pretty strong. She's a sharp gal too. I like her a lot. Harvard grad. She's got a young, cute little baby. If you haven't seen her pictures of her family, her husband's a Tampa Bay Ray baseball player, and they got a cute little baby too. So she's great. She did a great job on Hannity last night. They also had one of Trump's attorneys on there. She did a great job too. So we need to look into this Dominion ballot software. It's my understanding, they use this software in 30 states, and of course all the swing battleground states is using this newer software. And they're noticing a trend that as soon as Trump starts to gain momentum, you know, and he gets a head of steam going and his votes start to peak a little bit, the system glitches and it's swapping votes out from Trump to Biden and giving Biden a chance to catch up. And you probably noticed on election night that we were doing good, it was looking great, and then just everybody stopped. It was like they put the brakes on and put a stop to the thing so they could figure out how to catch Biden back up. It's just so obvious. Now hopefully we can get in there and prove it. You know, that's going to be the kicker. And like I said earlier today, these libtards are going to lose their mind when that happens. So, you know, this mail-in voting, if we're going to go with mail-in voting, we have to come up with a way where everyone has to show ID. It's just, it opens up the floodgates for fraud. And the Dems, they want to mess with voting so much. They want to allow earlier and earlier voting in voting season. They want to count later and later. They don't want anybody to show ID. You know, they don't want any certifications on the ballot. No witness verifications, no identification. Some instances, no, you don't have to have it postmarked. They can postmark it late. So what does that tell you? What do they think of their base that they don't have confidence that their people can get a piece of mail in the mail on time with a proper postage on it? I mean, are they just all idiots? Can't turn in your assignment when it's due? How do these people get by in the world? You shouldn't be able to vote if you can't put a piece of mail properly filled out in the mail. That should disqualify you immediately. We need a lot of things to fix this voting system, but one thing that would put a big dent in a lot of this potential fraud is voter ID. You know, as a people, we've just been getting conditioned by the media to accept these new things as, people would be disenfranchised if they have to go get an identification. So, again, what do they think of their voters that they're not capable of going and getting an identification? You need an ID to do anything. Get on a plane, buy any tobacco products, get pulled over by police. You have to have an ID for anything. But to pick our representatives, you don't need any identification. I think that's racist. They say that the conservatives pushing for voter ID is racist. It's the opposite. Thinking that your base and your supporters aren't sharp enough or bright enough to figure out how to get photo identification, that's racist. And of course, that's the Democrat way, is projecting their faults onto us and then crying like little babies, and the media carries their water. We'll see what happens with Fox News here. It was really telling to me about a month and a half ago when Newt Gingrich was on with Harris Faulkner, and Newt brings up George Soros, and Harris Faulkner and the other guests were like deer caught in headlights. Like George Soros is, you're not allowed to talk about him. That's just unbelievable. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know right there. So we'll see. We got to look into this hammer and scorecard supercomputer. It was a CIA supercomputer. Of course, it was made by private industry because the government can't figure something out that good. But they got a huge government contract to come up with this hammer and scorecard supercomputer. And the CIA used it to meddle in elections internationally. And the Obama administration in 2009, I think it was, commandeered this thing from the CIA. And there's some evidence that they used it in 2012 to swing some votes in Florida for Obama and Biden. So we'll see if there's enough evidence out there now that the Trump team can find that they used that in this election. That would be huge. That would expose the whole thing. That people would go to jail for that. You know what else I saw today? Is that there's 3.5 million people in this country that are registered to vote that are not qualified to vote. Meaning on the voter rolls, there's over 3.5 million people that are registered to vote, or that are either dead, or they've been convicted of some sort of crime, felony that would take away your civil rights to be able to vote and such. So we'll see what comes out of this. I'm feeling a little bit better today than I was yesterday. It's still we still got a long way to go, and it'll be like moving mountains to get overturned what the media has done to this country, claiming Joe Biden's the winner without anything being certified and everything being in question. And I think the American people are starting to see it. I know the Dems, they don't want to see the truth. They just want Trump gone. But that's not how it works. We're a country of laws, and we got to make sure we get this right so we have confidence moving forward in the system. So we'll see what pops up later tonight, tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.